Inner City Helping Homeless was formed in November 2013 as a reaction to rough sleeper crisis that had presented in Dublin. It was a case of a small soup run around the city at that time, and we went out and made sure people were comfortable on the streets and people were supplied with sleeping bags and food once they couldn't get into a hostile environment at night time. Since ICHH started, it's a case of we primarily dealt with rough sleepers. We're looking at a situation now where we're very top heavy in regard to families, and I suppose for the first 2 years in operation our main goal would have been to engage with rough sleepers and provide support for rough sleepers. Homeless services has dramatically changed within that time period, and now we're looking at a case where we're dealing with more families and children that present on a daily basis. We have up to three families a day that may present here in our offices that would require assistance and support or accommodation needs. So we're in a situation now where we've had to basically respond or cope with demand. As people have presented, we have more case presentations for families and young children at the moment, and I suppose when we first did set up, it was a case of the rough sleeper and engaging on the streets with the rough sleeper and advocating on their behalf. And homeless services has just dramatically changed in that time period that we've been in operation, and we've had to respond to that change in the presentations of rough sleepers to families and young children. ICHH has a number of operations that go on. We have day services here, we have advocacy support services, we have case management, we have our kitchen where we would see people, volunteers in making sandwiches, we have our warehouse in operation where we see food redistribution from there, we have our fundraising department, we have people that work in our offices as admin and case management support. So you know, we've grown absolutely tremendously particularly over the last 2 years, and we're seeing that we could have up to 180 volunteers that work right across the organisation at the moment. You know, and they're all volunteers that come in here and offer those services and supports throughout the organisation. So you know, we've seen a major increase in the amount of people that come in here and volunteer, and everybody has a role or a part to play in what we do. So whether that is a case management or an outreach or driver or an outreach support worker or somebody that works in the office or reception. You know, we're open from 10 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, and we provide outreach support services from 11 p.m. Right through till 3 or 4 a.m. So, you know, we've grown dramatically over the last number of years, and we'll continue to do so. On a nightly basis, we'd be looking at, on average, around 150 individuals that would have nowhere else to go after 11 p.m. at night. They would be bedding down, rough sleeping, and we'd either be provided with sleeping bags or referral for case management. The highest ever number was over 200 rough sleepers that we had engaged with on a particular night or over a particular period. That number does fluctuate according to weather. You know, spring, summer, some people sleep in parks and we might not be able to get to them. Others in the winter tend to move into facilities such as hostels. The big problem that we have with presentations is that there's never enough beds in the system in order to cope with demand. And we've never had a situation, I suppose, where we have a low number of rough sleepers on the streets. It's always a very high number, and again it does rise periodically or through the year. So on average we'd be looking at about 150 people per night on the streets. Volunteering is the most important department that we have within the operation. We've up to 180 volunteers that volunteer round the clock here. We're open from 10 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night. Our outreach from 11 p.m. to the early hours of the morning, and there's so many different departments within the volunteer department, from covering reception to outreach to van drivers to fundraising. So what we would do is we would ask people to come with their experience, and we'd assign people to an area that they would be experienced in, or where they would have the most to offer. Again, it's a case of we fully rely on volunteers to keep the operation flowing and keep the operation going, and without volunteers ICHH wouldn't be in the position it's in today, and it certainly wouldn't have grown as big and as large as what it has over the last couple of years. People can go online, they can go onto ICHH.ie, they can fill out the application forms there, or they can call us at the office on 888 1804, and our volunteer coordinator will engage with them straight away and get them set up.